This is Winning by Go-Go Squeeze. For active people, Go-Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend with electrolytes can help replenish the essential minerals lost during exercise.
'25 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
Make one more good pitch and finish Fargo off. Then you can get a good sleep and think about tomorrow. 2-2. He struck him out swinging. And this one belongs to the Razorbacks. The Hogs beat Tennessee 4-3 to open the Fayetteville Super Regional. And they dominated on the pitcher's mound. 2 hits for Tennessee. Now they both left the ballpark, but it wasn't enough. The Hogs win 4-3, and they're 1 win away from the Emerald City.
Call or text the program at 877-377-6963. Don't forget about Hog Reaction after every Arkansas postseason baseball game.
What a game in Baum-Walker Stadium. Arkansas takes it 4-3. As you heard our guy Phil Elson just say, 1 win away from heading back to Omaha, Nebraska. Hey, welcome in. It's Hog Reaction presented by Heath Roberts with State Farm, ASU Mountain Home, and First Star Bank. Alongside Colton Little, I'm Ty Richardson. Lewis Automotive Group hotline is open, 877-377-6963. Got a little dicey down the stretch after Fisher hit that bomb. I don't know how nervous everyone was, but Gabe Gackle showed some resolve. Now the Razorbacks have an opportunity to close out the Volunteers tomorrow. Really kind of a tight game, pitcher duel. Phillips didn't have a good a day at Root. My goodness gracious. Zach Root, you think about the 3 outings that Zach has had this season, Colton and everyone else. His best, the biggest games that he's played in this year. He had a career high in strikeouts against the Texas Longhorns, went 8 innings of that game. He ends up only giving 1 hit in this game, which was the bomb. And then he has the really, really good outing in the regional last week where he goes 6 innings. Again, goes 7 innings, 1 hit. That's it. Outstanding performance from Zach Root, who, man, oh man, I'm glad he's not an Eastern Carolina Pirate anymore.
Man, me too. What a steal out of the transfer portal for DVH in this squad. I mean, we kind of just have been kicking it around all year, especially towards the end of the season of starting pitching. This team at having Achilles heel. We need, steady, dominant pitching. And here, Zach Root has answered the bell through the last couple weeks of the season and during the postseason out there against Creighton. And now with this dominant performance against Tennessee, you see a guy that wants to go out there and win and wants to win every single pitch. I mean, every time he gets called, one that's outside, just off the black, and, gets a call that he doesn't necessarily like, you can see that he's probably, even irked at the umpire a little bit. He wants to win every single pitch, and that's a guy that you definitely want as your ace. And I think that he did a great job tonight, and the team did a fantastic job of keeping their composure, maybe outside of Zach Root. That's as fiery as I've seen a Razorback player on a baseball field in a long time, and maybe it was warranted, maybe it wasn't. There was a pretty good piece of audio Zach had in the press conference that we'll have to play in a little bit, Ty. He said, "I blacked out," and I quote. So that's pretty good, but hey, it doesn't matter if you want to go out there and black out every time. I'm fine with that if you go 7 innings strong and only give up 2 runs.
And at 7:30, I mean, the game was over before 7 o'clock,
Yeah.
so you can get into some other stuff tonight. Tomorrow's game being at 2 o'clock, you'll have plenty of stuff to do later on tonight. Game times are good. I know people wanted primetime games, Baum-Walker Under the Lights. I guess they got the UFC and everything else on ESPN after, but I think it sets up perfectly. Do I think Arkansas is going to win it tomorrow? Liam Doyle, I think, again, is trying to overcome what happened last time he was in Fayetteville. So that's going to be an interesting matchup, an interesting dynamic. And really for Zach Root, who did not fare well last time against the Tennessee Volunteers, so it was really encouraging what he's been able to do in the postseason, which we know matters the most. Gage Wood is going to be on the mound for the Razorbacks tomorrow, so curious to see how he goes. You mentioned the press conference of Zach. We're going to hear from Zach Root, Dave Van Horn, Tony Vitello, all coming up. And again, want to hear from you. 877-377-6963. Quick break, more reaction when we come back as we continue on following a 4-3 Arkansas win.
Atmosphere should be electric. It's going to be a little nutty.
You're listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Keith Roberts.
What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
Whether you're opening your first checking account, purchasing your first home, saving for your first big vacation, or opening a new business, First Star Bank offers hometown service with the latest in digital banking technology. Our local team makes banking fast, convenient, and easy. From simple everyday banking to helping you fulfill your dreams, our team is here to guide you every step of the way. First Star Bank. We'll be there through all your firsts. Learn more at firststar.bank or stop by one of our local branches today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Budweiser, the American lager. A time-honored recipe, true to our original process, brewed using the choicest hops, rice, and best barley malt, delivering great quality beer since 1876. Budweiser. This Bud's for you. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2024 Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Lager Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are
Want to go home?
Grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
At Arvest Bank, we believe small businesses are the backbone of our communities. That's why we help businesses of all kinds find their strength. Whether you're just getting your business off the ground, planning for future growth, or managing the day-to-day, we want to help you thrive. Because everyone deserves a financial partner who cares. Arvest Bank. We believe.
Do you need closure on your garage? Call Grit Garage Doors. Whether it's a new door, a squeaky closing sound, a broken spring, or just off track, Grit is who you can trust. With an unheard of 15-year spring warranty option, Grit is the team you can trust. Call Grit. There's no door Grit can't close. Local team, local service with honesty and integrity. Call Grit Garage Doors. 479-430-3667. That's 479-430-DOOR. Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make Awake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make Awake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Soon, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make Awake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street in Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make Awake Bait and Tackle.
Have you tried the TGI Friday weekday deals? On Monday, they have 50-cent wings, traditional or boneless, 10-piece minimum. Tuesday, cheeseburgers and fries with a fountain drink for $10. On Wednesday, Cajun shrimp and chicken pasta for only $12. On Thursday, enjoy a half a rack of ribs for only $12. Stop by and check out the weekday deals at TGI Fridays, I-540 at Rogers Avenue in Fort Smith. In here, it's always Friday.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
Storm season is here. Is your roof ready? Hey, it's Matt Jones. If the weather has wrecked your roof and you need a roofing company you can trust, call my friends at Patriot Brothers Roofing. They have the #1 CertainTeed roofing company in Arkansas. They are licensed, bonded, insured, and lifetime River Valley residents located in Van Buren.
Thanks, Matt. We are also the only roofing company in the River Valley that installs a full CertainTeed integrity roof system and registers a 50-year warranty directly with CertainTeed. Patriot Brothers Roofing, because your home deserves only the best.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with extra rebates for a limited time. Kofer's features low pontoons and fishing boats, Malibu and Axis wake surf boats, Camus bass boats, and Kofer's has recently added the luxury line of Harris pontoons. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all of your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service is second to none. Plus, they have the best boat storage option in town. Find them online at Kofers.com. That's COPHERS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
You're listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
0-1 pitch to Thomas. Bounced and stopped, and here he comes. Kojal tries to score, and he does! Phillips didn't get to the plate. A run-scoring wild pitch over to third, Kahio Aloy. What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
This is Hog Reaction.
And that got the scoring going for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Not like there was a lot of it, only 7 runs between the two teams today, but when you have a pitching performance like Zach Root, you can get away with scoring just 4 runs. Hey, it's Hog Reaction. Todd Richardson, Colton Little, your calls and texts welcome here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline, 877-377-6963. It's this time of year. Zach summed it up perfectly in the postgame.
Win or go home.
Win or go home. Arkansas, again, 1 game away from going to Omaha and sending the Tennessee Volunteers back to Knoxville. Now, you and I were talking about before the show. Let's give Charles Davalon. Two hits. I mean, how many times did he get on base at the top of the inning? So he got on base initially in the first inning, also in the third. And we talked about that. Like, you can't let Tennessee get guys on initially early. They're #1 in the Southeastern Conference, one of the best in all of baseball in walks. And Arkansas today, again, getting bys. They did manage 2 walks today, but awesome performance from Charles Davalon. There's a lot of focus, a lot of attention, a lot of adulation that's going to be given to Zach Root, and deservedly so. But, man, Charles Davalon had a fantastic outing today for the Razorbacks.
Yeah, top of the lineup and leadoff hitter, you always want him to be able to, at least if he's not going to knock the ball around, to at least be able to get on base, to work the count and to see pitches. And like you said, Ty, it seemed like he was on base almost every single time that he stepped up to the plate today. And it's nice to see that he was able to get up there and get comfortable. And I know that I mentioned it in the pregame show, and it's kind of been talked about a couple of times here on these airwaves as the week has went on, but that cat and mouse game of Marcus Phillips not being the best at holding runners on, you saw him today countless times pitch over to first base and pitch over again to first base and pitch over again to first. There was an at-bat with Aloy when Davalon was on where he pitched over to Davalon, I think 5 or 6 times. So, I think that was also one other great thing that Davalon did was he was able to get inside Marcus Phillips' head a little bit. And I think that made him not quite as comfortable as he would have liked. Still not a bad day from the Tennessee starting pitcher. He went 5 1/3 innings. Ended up giving up 8 hits, though, which was kind of his demise at the end of the day. The Razorbacks just found ways to at least manufacture some hits. But, Ty, the one thing that you can kind of complain about today, even though you shouldn't complain or have any sorry attitudes after a win, one thing that you can sort of point at today that you'd like to see eradicated by the time you make it to that Emerald City that Phil was just talking about there at the end that they're 1 win away from, is you definitely need to get more runs across when you have that many guys on base. What was the stat? How many runners did they leave off in the first couple of innings? What, like 6 or 7?
Yeah,
Tough.
I was riding out because we were watching the game together, you, me, and Big C. So in the first 3 innings, you left 2 guys on, a guy on, and then 3 guys on in the third. So that was something that, like you said, you won, so the focus is going to be on the positive, and deservedly so. When you have an outing like Zach Root does, Charles Davalon, a couple other guys that had really good performances, yes. But in order to win a game like tomorrow against Liam Doyle. And we got to remember, again, I don't want to make light of how big of a win this game was, because like 70% of the time, the game one victor ends up winning the Super Regional. You read a stat off earlier about how SEC teams dominate in the Supers. Arkansas was like, I think 28-2, and they scored their first run this season, which is 4th in all of college baseball. But if you go back to 2018 and 2019, after a game one win against an SEC opponent, South Carolina and Ole Miss, they proceeded to lose game two. Would not be surprised at all. It is, again, even if you don't get by this game tomorrow, you have 2 opportunities left. That's the luxury that you've given yourself by taking down the Vols in game one. All right, let's get to some text here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Doug in Mountain Home saying, good luck going to sleep tonight. And Bubba's just saying, I am just going to stay here. I know a lot of Razorback fans, again, after a performance like that, you're jacked up, you're excited, and it might be a little harder to sleep tonight. Mason and Megan texting in here. I'm sure there will be a bunch of people talking negatively about the attitude and swag we showed tonight. Personally, I love it. These dudes are playing their hearts out right now. The flying by the seat of their pants for almost something that lies 400 miles away. Maybe Root said some 4-letter words that shouldn't have been said. That was an interesting dynamic within this baseball game today. So Fisher is the most disliked player on the Tennessee Vols because he's the best player outside of Doyle on that team. Yeah. He's a little animated. He's got some things he does that obviously fuel opposing fans. And so the interactions and Root got the best of him all 3 times. His homer payoff gave Gackle today. And in the final out that he was able to get on Fisher, there were some words said back and forth. And I know that this has been something that Tennessee has done all year long. I am curious because the reason Vitello was so angry, and in some cases you can make a case rightfully so, is because he felt like that should have warranted an ejection of Zach Root. I'm curious tomorrow if we see another altercation, if we see tempers flare up like we saw a little bit today, if there is something. I would caution every Arkansas player. We didn't necessarily see it from Thompson or Hobbs or DVH or anything like that, but I think that the umps tomorrow are going to be more guarded, and there might be an ejection if we see an altercation like that later on tomorrow.
Yeah, you do have to make sure that you keep your wits about you, and you can't let the intensity of the moment put you in a less than advantageous situation. I think about today, Cam Kojal finds a way to squeak into home plate off of a fantastic read on a dirt ball. I put that in the open for a reason, or in the rejoin for a reason, because of the fact that it was a fantastic read, and that's such a great read. But that happens because that dirt ball maybe gets away because of the fact that, look, Tennessee is without their starting catcher, their everyday catcher, because he ran his mouth at the end of a regional, had an ump that maybe had a bad day, woke up on the left side of the bed as opposed to the right, and didn't want to hear that lip from some 18-year-old kid named Cannon Peebles. So that's fair, and I understand that. But what's going to happen is if you get thrown out, and now let's say the Razorbacks are down a shortstop, or God forbid they're down, a catcher like Ryder Hellfrick. Things change like that, and maybe that ball doesn't get away today if Peebles is back there catching, and then it's a tie game at the end, and Ty, we may still be watching that game right now, watching all those pitchers get wasted. So it's important that you don't let anything take you out of your element and keep you from playing your game. You don't want to stoop down to their level at all.
How about Ryder today and continuing on?
The set and the pitch. Swing and a fly ball left field. Didn't get all of it. Bar goes at the wall. It's out of here. He didn't get all of it, but it still leaves the park. And Ryder Hellfrick has given them the lead with his 14th of the season. A wall scraper.
You look at that home run comparatively to Vihiva Lois, which very well could have been. I mean, both those plays right at the wall. Ryder Hellfrick, you had mentioned this. There's a cool backstory to how he's really come on as of late, and one of the reasons, Colton, that he's now hitting in the 4-hole for your baseball team.
Yeah, no matter what anybody says, Instagram Reels don't always have to be a complete and total waste of time. I saw this on one of the Hogs Plus interviews where Ryder Hellfrick had mentioned that his mother had sent him an Instagram reel of an old Tony Gwynn hitting clinic where Tony Gwynn had mentioned that he was tracking the ball by watching the bill of the pitcher's cap and then seeing the ball on the release and just tracking the ball in that way. And Ryder said that he applied that towards the end of the year, kind of near the SEC tournament, and that's when he started to take off, and his hitting numbers have skyrocketed. And it seems like every game that we've done a post-game show for, or coming back on Monday, we're mentioning Ryder's name, and that's a really, really good thing when you're a catcher. It means that you're not just contributing behind the plate and, taking charge of the defense and being a stone wall back there, but you're also doing what you're now paid to do and becoming a really serious offensive threat. I don't remember who it was. I think it might have been Phil said that, look, that's next year's Vahiva Aloy. That's next year's stud that everybody's going to have their eyes on. It's going to be Ryder Hellfrick. So to see him make this jump, you just hope that he can continue to do that as well as stay as balanced as he has been behind the dish for you. And it's been fantastic to watch the kid from California and just, blossom into a great Razorback catcher for us.
Arky texted in, there will be shenanigans if Doyle's in the game. We've got to keep our cool if we want to prevail. Nope, agree wholeheartedly with that. Ryan in Prairie Grove, it's a 4-letter U, 5-letter. He said y'all can fill in the blanks. Farmer Tom made the 14-hour drive home from the beach to watch his Arkansas Razorbacks. Sometimes you've got to beat a bully. To beat a bully, you've got to be a bigger bully. That's what he said about Team Root. I be in Clarksville saying I like Tennessee's decision to pitch Doyle tomorrow. Doubt he could go Monday. If so, yeah, that's what we've been talking about. And the other part of Monday, and again, this is under the anticipation if you were to somehow lose the game, which it's not entirely out of the possibility that Arkansas can't just beat Doyle for the second time this season. We've recited the statistics this week. He beat David Price, SEC Pitcher of the Year in 2007. We know how great of a year he had in the great career he had in the majors. You beat Ethan Small, Mississippi State in 2019. You beat Brady Singer twice. You beat Paul Skeens twice. And one of those games being each of those from postseason. So again, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you can't beat these guys tomorrow. But if you were to lose, Gabe Gackle pitched was he under 30? I got to go back and
I think he was today.
I think
25 pitches today.
Yeah, 25 pitches. So if you really needed to pull him out of the pen, I think there would be an opportunity to do that as well. All right, I want to hear from Dave Van Horn. We've still got some more audio to cut, and Tony Vitello as well. It's Hog Reaction. It's presented by Heath Roberts with State Farm, ASU Mountain Home, and First Star Bank. We'll hear from your head baseball coach when we return.
Atmosphere should be electric. It's going to be a little nutty.
You're listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kozel, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Superior Siding and Windows have been improving homes in Fort Smith and the River Valley for over 44 years. Whether your need is siding, vinyl windows, doors, or gutters, Superior Siding is the one to call if you want it done right the first time. Call 479-646-7888 for a free estimate. 100% financing is available, and Superior Siding has AAA rating with Better Business Bureau. Superior Siding, your first call, 479-646-7888.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Sharp Equipment is your one-stop shop for heavy equipment. Whether your machine's rattling, sputtering, or flat out refusing to start, we've got the parts and expertise to get you moving again. Looking for a new piece of heavy equipment? Look no further than Sharp Equipment, an authorized Wacker Newson dealer. Needing hydraulic or industrial hoses? Sharp Equipment's got what you need. Come see us at 5608 Wheeler Avenue in Fort Smith, or give us a call at 479-649-0500. At Sharp Equipment, we help you move more than just the world. We help you move forward.
Looking to protect yourself and your family this flu season? Law's Drug Store at 6802 Rogers Avenue offers the latest vaccines for adults and seniors in both COVID-19 and the flu. Law's Drug Store has friendly pharmacists ready to assist you with no appointment necessary. Call 452-6116. It's quick, it's easy, and in most cases, free with your insurance. Law's Drug Store, 6802 Rogers Avenue behind Outback Steakhouse. Open 6 days a week to care for you and your family.
Insurance company throwing you a curveball? Are they crowding the plate and not offering you a fair settlement? If you've been injured in a car wreck, you need an experienced attorney to fight for you. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions. Licensed in Arkansas and Oklahoma, no win, no fee. Call Mock Legal Solutions today for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics. Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Call Ted McAvoy in Van Buren.
The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. Listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance agent Heath Roberts.
The 0-1 pitch to Thomas. Bounced and stopped, and here he comes. Kojal tries to score, and he does! Phillips didn't get to the plate. A run-scoring wild pitch over to third, Kuhio Aloy. What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
This is Hog Reaction.
I mean, whenever you got pitchers like the two guys we threw today, you're confident you can keep teams down, even a great hitting team like Tennessee. So, they did it.
Only 2 Arkansas Razorbacks touched the mound today, which is nice because you've got a lot of options here these next couple days. I know they were warming up. Phil and Bubba were talking about it during the game. Some guys that were warming up in the pen. You didn't have to utilize them. Gackle came through for you at the tail end. Zach Root came through for you all game long, and the Razorbacks win 4-3. Big Mike was watching, and he has some thoughts. He's listening in Waldron today. Big Mike, you're on Hog Reaction. What's up, man?
I know I said one thing, but that Tony Gwynn thing y'all talked about the tip of the cap of the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
One night he showed up on Sunday Night Baseball. I think it was Harold Baines, the one that got in trouble for touching somebody inappropriately. And he's up there, and this guy hit a ball over by short, and he got out, and Tony goes, if you hit that ball in the dirt, it would have squirted through for a hit. And Harold goes, Tony, the rest of us is trying to get a hit. We ain't trying to hit it on the dirt or grass. Tony, I wish he's still alive. Anyway, I'm glad our players don't act like their players do. I know somebody said Zach cursed a little bit when he come off the mound. Did he? I didn't see him curse at them. I just seen him, yelling.
Steven,
I didn't see him cursing.
Well, he was cursing. I don't care if he's a hog or not. He's cursing. We're not going to put on these glasses and act like it didn't happen. Steven was messaging earlier.
I don't think he was doing it at nobody. They're always doing stuff at somebody. And you got the one dude doing it towards our crowd. The hell with them. Tony, when Dave retires, I don't want Tony here because that's the kind of players he recruits and the way he acts too. They act just like him, like a bunch of D-bags. The hell with them. I managed not to curse, Ty. I almost did 2 or 3 times.
Is hell not a curse word?
Anyway,
is hell not a
I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. See you, buddy. That's Big Mike and Waldron. Lewis Automotive Group hotline open. If you've got some reaction to the 4-3 win, do so 877-337-6666. 377-6963. We had an interesting message earlier on YouTube. This comes from Steven, who's watching us. You can always watch Hog Reaction, YouTube, X, Facebook, and also on Twitch as well. And, of course, you can stream it on the Hit That Line Now app powered by Taco Bell and hitthatline.com. His thought was that Root was yelling at the umpire. Unless you were actually in the building, I mean, it looked pretty obvious. He was yelling at Fisher, and that's fun. But we're not gonna sit here. And that's not the point. Arkansas wins. That's the big deal. But we're not gonna act like that. There wasn't cursing tossed at Fisher. That's just like, come on. Like, what are we doing? But that being said, again, what Zach was able to do is save so much of your pitching and Gackle to get through those final 2 innings. Like, and I know they each gave up a home run, but that was so big to set yourself up for the rest of the weekend. Tennessee ended up having to use 5 guys on the mound today. That 6th inning took forever, it seemed like. I know there was a lot of shenanigans going on with Tony Bartel, and there's a frustration. Like, you heard Mike's voice, and to get that win was big for your program, not just to get on that first game win, but also it's like you're sick and tired of this guy. You're sick and tired of his players acting a certain way. And you as a fan, you're not alone. You saw that today from your star pitcher, your first team All-SEC guy, and the players as well. You're not alone. They get ticked off and hacked off just like you do. I promise you're not the only one that feels that way, not just in Fayetteville and across this state and wherever you're listening this morning, but there's a lot of other SEC fan bases and players and coaches that feel that exact same way. To Uniontown we go, where Daniel is waiting on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Daniel, welcome into Hog Reaction. What's on your mind?
Well, they still use 5 pitchers, but I know of 1, maybe 2 of them only had 1 pitch. So I don't think that's considered using 5 pitchers. It's all about the matchup. I know that. If it wasn't for Ryder Hellfrick, we wouldn't have won the game, for sure. Then Tennessee had their antics, of course, but I'd rather have the antics of Tennessee from tonight than what we threw at them. We can't bash Tennessee about their antics tonight if we cuss everyone that runs off the plate. I'll shut up and listen. Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel. Again, you got the win. That's the most important thing. There's going to be there's going to be pushback all across Tennessee and Arkansas when it comes to the fan base and how people conduct themselves. Evidently, an Arkansas fan was cussing at Tony Vitello after the game and was subsequently ejected from the premises. So it's not like, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we don't have bad apples too, and occasionally things don't get a little hot and heavy. That's baseball, it's football, it's basketball, but that's not the most important thing that happened on the field today at Baum Walker Stadium. Now, we did get a text from Siegel and Danville. He's happy, but he's a little nervous, saying, great W, Colton, but I feel like we were on the verge of giving it away again. Time to dominate the DB Doyle tomorrow. And he also says Daniel from Uniontown needs to shut the bleep up. I thought that, listen, Daniel, you're kind of saying the same thing that I've said. All I'm saying is let's not act like that we're perfect all the time. That's all I'm saying.
Ruskin said this yesterday. It's not a team full of choir boys. I mean, Zach Root's a competitor. He wants to win the game. And occasionally, look, I don't know about you, but in an adult setting, occasionally adults say adult language. And if that shocks you or if that offends you, you don't need to be watching college baseball. Maybe you should find something that's a little bit more, like, relaxed.
Well, since we're on the subject of Zach Root, Tony Vitello, Colton, had this to say after the game about Arkansas star pitcher on the main difference in today. Sorry, I want to make sure I labeled that right. Should be up there. Did I not plug it up there?
I don't know.
Okay,
which one does it say?
That's my bad. I will take the I will take responsibility for not having that up. Jackson for Little Rock. Ty, what is your confidence heading into tomorrow? So I'm going back and forth on this a little bit, Jackson, because I think like Zach Root, Zach did not have a great performance against Tennessee last time. But when you think about the most pressure-packed situations that he's faced all season, the Texas game, #1 team in the country, career high best, maybe his best outing as a Razorback. The game last week, unbelievable outing in his first postseason game as a Razorback. And then he does what he did today. And he struck out Fisher 3 times. Or not, I guess didn't strike him out 3 times, but Fisher went 0 for 3 against him. That's the most important thing. Like the best player on their team, batting-wise, he shut him down. So I think that Liam Doyle personally, Jackson, I hope it doesn't play out like I think Liam Doyle is going to have a really good outing tomorrow for Tennessee. That's what I think.
This is what the head ball coach had to say on what he expects to see from a potential Golden Spikes winner.
Kind of what you saw this past weekend. I mean, he'll do anything he can to help his team win. Pitched 2 different times, started, and then came in relief on Monday. He's going to compete hard, and, we just got to do a good job. When we get a chance to hit one, we got to square it up, and he's hard to square up. So, I told our guys to get some rest because we'll get their best shot tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's not like they're going late into the night. I'm going to guess that most of these kids these guys are going to be in bed by 10 o'clock because they prepare for the Tennessee Volunteers tomorrow at 2 o'clock. We'll have pregame coverage beginning at 1. It'll be Colton and myself, and then postgame as well. Hey, it's Hog Reaction. It is presented by Heath Roberts at State Farm. When I was looking around for insurance, I chose Heath Roberts. While State Farm is a big name, Heath is a local that earned my homeowner's business, my car insurance business. He does it all. 479-452-4088. ASU Mountain Home. Over 60 degrees and technical programs they offer at the #1 community college in Arkansas, according to Wallet Hub. You can visit the website apply.asumh.edu. That's apply.asumh.edu to start your Trailblazer journey today. And by First Star Bank, for all your first, whether saving or borrowing or planning, call in and stop at your local First Star Bank branch, your hometown banker with all the digital tools. First Star Bank, your hometown bank for all your first. More from Tony Vitello, Dave Van Horn, and you when we return.
Atmosphere should be electric. It's going to be a little nutty.
You're listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
What a great dirt ball read by Cam Koziel, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
Where can you get good neighbor service and surprisingly great insurance rates? At State Farm, because State Farm agent Heath Roberts is your one-stop shop in the River Valley for the service you deserve at the price you want. So stop looking around. State Farm agent Heath Roberts is ready to help. Call 479-452-4088 for your surprisingly great rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
Ready to pave your path to success? Register now for summer and fall classes at ASU Mountain Home. Current students connect with your advisors to enroll. New students visit asumh.edu. With financial aid and scholarships available, your dream degree is within reach. Embrace flexibility with online options, allowing you to balance work, family, and life. Blaze a new trail at ASU Mountain Home.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
I know we're always on the go, heading to Fayetteville, Little Rock, Oklahoma City, and you need a place to fill up. But not just for gas. I need snacks, drinks, and a restroom that doesn't make me throw up. That's why my new favorite pit stop is Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue on the way out of town. I can't stop by without getting something from their hot box or a fresh-made burger. That's Jam Mart number 10, located at 6201 Grand Avenue in Fort Smith.
Need a little extra cash? Go see Rusty at Golden Gym Pond, 310 West Center in Greenwood. Get the money you need with loans on jewelry, guns, tools, and electronics. If you're looking for a gift, they have a large selection of jewelry to choose from, and Rusty can take care of all jewelry repair. Stop by Golden Gym Pond today, 310 West Center in Greenwood, or call 996-2792. Open 9 to 5:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 9 to 3 on Wednesday. Golden Gym Pond.
Precision Garage Door features the finest quality materials, installation, and service for all your garage door needs, including garage door repair and new garage doors and openers. Fully licensed and insured with the largest showroom in Northwest Arkansas at 1907 Town West Drive in Rogers and in Fort Smith at 416 North 10th Street. Call Precision Garage Door today at 844-PDS-DOOR or check them out online at precisiondoornwa.com. Financing is available. Precision Garage Door, voted best garage door company of Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
Summer is finally here. Come check out Kofer's Boat Center's huge selection of boats with extra rebates for a limited time. Kofer's features low pontoons and fishing boats, Malibu and Axis wake surf boats, Caymas bass boats, and Kofer's has recently added the luxury line of Harris pontoons. Kofer's experienced professionals will answer all of your boating questions, and their award-winning customer service is second to none. Plus, they have the best boat storage option in town. Find them online at Kofers.com. That's COPATRS.com. Kofer's Boat Center, providing family fun since 1971.
Do you want to be home every weekend, use brand new equipment, and make a competitive salary? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, call 479-646-4685. That's 646-4685. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith and online at Lavorne, LOVVORN lumber.com. Lavorne Lumber. Paying the bills, we'll take care of you.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Hungry for a meal that's more than just food? At 46 Steakhouse in Alma, Adam and Brooke Daly are serving up tradition with every bite. Hand-cut steaks, including their massive 46-ounce ribeye, juicy chicken, and hand-breaded catfish. Plus, every meal comes with those famous hot rolls and honey butter that folks cannot stop talking about. At 46 Steakhouse, they're ready to make your family feel right at home. 46 Steakhouse, 108 Highway 71 next to Harps in Alma. 46 Steakhouse, where every meal is a masterpiece.
Listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance agent Heath Roberts.
The 0-1 pitch to Thomas. Bounced and stopped, and here he comes. Kojal tries to score, and he does! Phillips didn't get to the plate. A run-scoring wild pitch over to third, Kuhio Aloy. What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
This is Hog Reaction.
It's not a positive as we're one short on the scoreboard to keep that thing rolling. Maybe a little extra motivation tomorrow, but obviously the difference, I think a lot of guys were really good out on that field because there's a lot of talent, but the difference was Root.
Chris in Springdale, no issue with giving Tennessee a taste of their own medicine, as long as we aren't the ones initiated in. Hey, Hog Reaction rolls on, brought to you by Heath Roberts at State Farm, ASU Mountain Home, and First Star Bank. You just heard the sound of and the voice of Tony Vitello, again, saying the difference was Zach Root. He talked about it after the game. He didn't think Marcus Phillips had a bad outing. He was 5 1/3, gave up 8 hits, 4 earned runs. that's not terrible. I think he had a better outing against the Arkansas Razorbacks the last time, but Zach Root clearly had a better Razorback outing. Only 92 pitches. They were talking. I was listening to Dave talk about this post-game. There was the possibility of bringing him back with the 8, and then they said where his pitch count was, and they decided to go with Gackle, and it paid off for the Razorbacks. And now we wait to see what this outing looks like for Doyle and Wood tomorrow at 2:00, Colton.
And I think that Vitello has some reason to be complimentary towards Marcus Phillips. What he did well was that he limited the damage, and it's not like the Razorbacks completely faltered and were just swinging at stuff in the dirt. Phillips made some good pitches, and he had some stuff that was really working for him today that the Razorbacks couldn't quite get a hold of, and now they were able to get to him a little bit and get 4 earned runs from his billing. But I think at the end of the day, like you said, Ty, Zach Root today obviously ate his Wheaties, came to the ballpark with, vicious intent on his mind, and I think that if that's something that you can kind of build off of going forward, and I know that people may be up in arms about barking this or back and forth and things and chirping. And look, these are extremely extremely high-level athletes that are competing on the biggest stage they've probably ever played on in their careers, and they want to win for their team, for their school, for themselves. And if you don't have that kind of emotion in the thing that you love the most, you're probably not doing the right thing. And I think that it's okay a little bit whenever it becomes a distraction, whenever it becomes a sideshow, like we've seen from Tennessee in the past. To give them credit, I don't think they did too much today that was extremely outside. That warranted maybe some of the reaction that we gave, but maybe we were a little anticipatory of that. Maybe we were kind of just waiting for them to come out and say one thing, and then we were going to jump all over them. But I think at the end of the day, we let our play do the talking. We really did. And Zach Root was, the tip of that spear.
All right, couple texts to get to here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. I want to make sure I say this correctly. Is Tuck phony a thing now? Just like Tuck Fexus? I want to make sure I say that right because we're getting text about that. Also, Tommy's listening and texting in. High of 86 tomorrow in Fayetteville will be one of the hottest games, if not the hottest game that they played in this year. So that might have some sort of factor on both teams tomorrow. Now,
wake up the dragon.
You brought up that part about Marcus Phillips limiting the damage. Dave Van Hoort talked about after the game how, again, while they had you win 4-3, you're pumped about that, but they did leave some runs on the board. Here's what DB8 said after the game.
We've left a lot of runners out there. We hit a double play with base loaded. We hit a double play in the first inning. It looks good when you see that they've got no hits, and we've got, 6 or 7 at the time, but we only had a 1-run lead, and that was because Cam Kojo made a great read and scored a run for us there. So, yeah, usually it comes back to bite you. Feel really fortunate that we scored enough runs and that our pitchers did the job they did.
And there have been games in years past where they've had good pitching outings, but it wasn't enough, or they did leave the amount of guys on base, and it ended up coming back to bite them. Luckily, it didn't do that today. I've got a sinking feeling if you do that against Liam Doyle tomorrow, then you're probably not going to walk off the field a victor. I know that there's been some games already, like the Coastal Carolina, for those that don't know, defeated Auburn today, so they have advanced to the College World Series. Congratulations to the Chanticleers. But Arizona tied it up series-wise against North Carolina, so that's going to a third and final game in Chapel Hill. I don't know of the 8 Super Regionals, Colton, how many will be decided in 2 games versus 3, but I'm going to guess we're going to see more 3-game series than we do one team just winning it in 2 like we saw Coastal do it in Auburn today.
I'd like to think that the Razorbacks are going to be able to take care of business tomorrow night. I, too, maybe am leaning towards kind of your thought process of the fact that Liam Doyle should just be amped up enough. But at the end of the day, if we're just counting on this guy being a great pitcher, well, he obviously is. But when he came in here last time, he was touted just as highly as he was now. And you knocked him around. You hit 3 home runs against him, scored 8 runs. Were put on next to his name in the earn run category. So this ain't Superman. I mean, this is a guy that you've been able to poke holes in. And I think that that's how they need to go about tomorrow, is just to have the same confidence that, look, it doesn't matter if they've got prime Randy Johnson up there or the pitching machine cranked up all the way to 130 miles an hour. I'm sending every pitch exactly where it needs to go, and I'm taking my trip to Omaha that I deserve. And I do believe that all these series that we do see, I think it's because that there are just some teams that don't have quite the same amount of dominant pitching that the Razorbacks do, and I hope that tomorrow, even if it comes down to a bullpen game and maybe Gage Wood doesn't have his best stuff, it doesn't matter if you've got Coyle or Beitelshees or Gibbler, who I know was getting hot today to replace Gackel if he couldn't get the job done. So they have a lot of weapons in that bullpen, and I think that that's going to end up being the deciding factor to hopefully send the Volunteers home packing early.
This text is a good one. It comes from Hog Wild and Van Buren talking about the SEC. From the 13 teams in the regionals to no more than 2 teams in Omaha, the SEC has literally imploded this postseason. So the Razorbacks or the Vols will advance past this to Omaha, likely to play LSU, who won today. I think it was 16-9 in Alex Box. Game 2 of that series will be tomorrow with LSU and having a chance and an opportunity to go to Omaha. But that is wild. With the Tigers going down today, the SEC has a national championship winning streak since 2019, and they've got several others prior to that, but at least consecutively when you don't count the COVID year in 2020, that's now in jeopardy. And I don't think many of us thought, I especially didn't, with 13 teams getting in the league. Now, we saw the SEC basketball, it whittled down. Florida still won the whole thing. But if it sets up, and what's also interesting is you're putting an SEC team, Colton, in the loser's bracket automatically in Omaha because Arkansas or Tennessee is likely to play LSU after this next weekend. I'm going to assume that the Tigers, this is under the assumption that Tigers take care of business in one of these next two games against the Mountaineers of West Virginia. So that's a very odd thing, an odd dynamic of this league right now, with it being so dominant for so long and the possibility of the SEC no longer having the consecutive title in baseball.
I think it's just a trend that kind of goes towards what we've seen from college sports in general. There's a transfer portal that allows players to move extremely freely. There's really no regulation or legislation, from one place from one state to another that's uniform enough for the talent to really acclimate and stay in one place anymore, or kind of just, accumulate in one place anymore. So I think that some of the talent is spread out all the way across the league, and it's nothing new to see schools like ACC schools like North Carolina or West Coast schools like Oregon State be in the College World Series. We're used to that. I think that maybe some of the cannibalization of the SEC as they got on towards the end of the year with, these teams playing really tough schedules and then going into a regional, I think that maybe there is something to say about that. But at the end of the day, when you have 13 that come into the, to the tournament, you'd think that things would turn out sort of how it did in the college basketball tournament this year, where one of the last teams standing was indeed was an SEC team. So I'm not exactly sure, but if I can pry the cart, 27 outs back from the horse where it kind of is now, thinking about moving on to the next game against LSU, there's still going to be, a lot to take care of tomorrow, and I think that that's what they need to stay focused on.
All right, we're going to move on to another segment here as we continue on Hog Reaction. Lewis Automotive Group Hotline, 877-377-6963. The Arkansas Razorbacks take game one of the Fayetteville Super Regional 4-3. More reaction when we return.
Atmosphere should be electric. It's going to be a little nutty.
You're listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
Ready to pave your path to success? Register now for summer and fall classes at ASU Mountain Home. Current students connect with your advisors to enroll. New students visit asumh.edu. With financial aid and scholarships available, your dream degree is within reach. Embrace flexibility with online options, allowing you to balance work, family, and life. Blaze a new trail at ASU Mountain Home.
At Arvest Bank, we believe in supporting growing communities. That's why we're committed to putting home ownership within reach. Whether it's your first home, a fixer-upper, or your forever home, we have a variety of loan options to help make your dream home a reality. Because everyone deserves a financial partner who cares. Arvest Bank, we believe. Equal housing lender.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off. Or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why we work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Ready to check us out? Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Mama, Dad, Jackie Ferry.
479.
479.
521.
521.
4220.
4220. Show you.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
Locally owned Lumber One can handle all of your building needs. They've built their business on having great relationships with everybody from contractors and builders to the everyday build-it-yourself. Lumber One has a full-line door shop to handle all of your door, window, and trim needs. And along with lumber, roofing, and drywall products, attic wall and floor insulation is available. Lumber One also does blueprint takeoff with access to design services with estimates available. So go where the pros go. Lumber One, located on Industrial Park Road in Van Buren.
World-class trout fishing is the star of the show at Gaston's White River Resort. We're a few days away from all the worries and stress will make all right in your world. Gaston's has friendly, experienced guides to help you land your limit. Enjoy your stay at Gaston's in one of their private cottages or reserve a lodge for up to 20 people. Call now and let Gaston's help you plan your next getaway on the White River. 870-431-5202. That's 870-431-5202. Or learn more at Gastons.com. Gaston's, a first-class time, every time.
Do you hide your smile because of chipped, stained, or uneven teeth? Or feel like your smile doesn't match the way you feel inside? This is Dr. Charles Liggett at River Valley Smile Center. We offer custom veneers, full mouth rehabilitation, and even Botox to help you look and feel your best. We combine our expert care and artistic skill to create beautiful, natural-looking results, all while keeping you relaxed and comfortable. Right, Matt?
Time to love your smile again. Call 479-646-0706 or visit rivervalleysmiles.com to schedule your consultation today.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929. The Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Online and on the air and now everywhere you go. Tune in to the greatest moments of Razorback sports with Chuck Barrett, Bo Mattingly, Tommy Kraft, Ty Richardson, Phil Elson, Matt Jones, and Ruskin and Zach with our Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Stay connected no matter where you go with the Hit That Line Now app, fueled by Taco Bell. Download for free in the Apple app or Google Play stores. Just search Hit That Line Now. It's fueled by Taco Bell. Listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
The 0-1 pitch to Thomas. Bounced and stopped, and here he comes. Kojal tries to score, and he does! Phillips didn't get to the plate. A run-scoring wild pitch over to third, Kuhio Aloy. What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
This is Hog Reaction.
2-2. He struck him out swinging, and this one belongs to the Razorbacks. The Hogs beat Tennessee 4-3 to open the Fayetteville Super Regional, and they dominated on the pitcher's mound. 2 hits for Tennessee. Now, they both left the ballpark, but it wasn't enough. The Hogs win 4-3, and they're 1 win away from the Emerald City.
How are we feeling, Razorback fans? How are we feeling after a 4-3 victory over the Vols earlier today? I know some of you still haven't come down yet after that win earlier this afternoon in Baum-Walker Stadium. Let's keep breaking it down here on Hog Reaction, brought to you by Heath Roberts at State Farm, ASU Mountain Home, and First Star Bank. So we've talked about a number of different things thus far in this game, mostly on Zach Root. We've talked about Gabe Gackle, Ryder Hellfrick, again, a massive home run in this game, and everything else. It was cool. I don't know if you caught this as well, Colton. Talon Green football team was in attendance. You had over 10,000 Razorback fans that were here in Baum-Walker Stadium, and countless more listing here on ESPN Arkansas. HitThatLine.com and Hit That Line Now at Powered by Taco Bell, plus those watching on ESPN. So that was definitely a cool thing that I saw, the football guys being there to take in that type of atmosphere. Hey, maybe, and I know they had that one against Tennessee, but maybe it's like, man, this is what it's like when we're really, really good at a sport. We want to feel like this. So maybe there'll be something that they can take and glean from the atmosphere earlier today.
I'm sure they'd love to play in a stadium like that.
Oh,
and
no question.
This. I think that what's really funny is that I think I saw something today that the Razorback football team playing at home against the spread has been like atrocious recently. And then this Razorback baseball team playing at home, against the spread, anything at all, winning in general, this Razorback baseball team at home, they defend Baum Walker Stadium so well. And I think part of that is some of the reason why you saw some of the juice today from some of our players. That's, they can let Tennessee do whatever they want, disrespect the game and get excited and get animated, but you're not going to do that in Baum Walker, I think, with some of the mentality the Razorbacks had going into today, and it spilled over from time to time. And I think that DVH, he had a pretty interesting quote about that. Hutch asked him if he was kind of in favor or what he liked about that. It was kind of an interesting answer.
Do you like seeing that kind of emotion from your starting pitcher?
Not really, not that much. I mean, I want them to stay under control so they can pitch longer. You can only use so much adrenaline. It's going to end up backfiring on you after a while. But his stuff was tremendous, and he was just competing like he said, and I think probably the crowd got him going a little bit and all that was going on. And I like the fact that he could still throw the ball over the plate and spin it, throw it over the plate, and, did a great job. He gave us 7 strong innings.
So I think to that point, now Dave Van Horn has had plenty of fiery interactions over the course of his life. Fiery doesn't always equal success. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people, like we've had this conversation before, it's like, why isn't Sam Pippen ripping this guy a new one on the sidelines, blah, blah, blah. It's like, and you see a Nick Saban or you've seen a DVH, stuff like that, doesn't always mean that the net is going to be positive. And that was his, now help me on this, was that after the 6th? I'm blanking on when that was. That when they got through the top of the 6th when he had that interaction with Fisher? Or was that after the 7th?
I believe that was going into the 6th inning.
Okay, all right. So
bottom of the 6th.
Yeah. Okay, so heading into the bottom of the 6th. So he still had one more inning. He got through that inning. Again, only gave up 1 hit earlier in the game. That home run ball. I think you just and not that like he was. I mean, he does that like that hand thing. When he like rings someone up, it's almost like he's an umpire calling a guy out. He occasionally does that. And there's been a verbal thing or said. I mean, we've all seen the Will McIntyre clip from a couple weeks ago against Tennessee. Sometimes teams just bring that out of you. Yeah. And evidently Tennessee has done that against that. Now, I will say what DVH said is important. And that's not just for Zach, but that's for everyone else. Again, emotions and mental fortitude is going to get tested once again tomorrow. Do not let these guys poke you into doing something stupid, right? Because an ejection carries a 1-game suspension. That's right. And I'm going to be honest, if Root hadn't gotten away with some of the stuff he did, then Vitello probably doesn't get away with some of the stuff he did during the course of this game today. But they probably weren't. If they weren't going to throw out Root for that, then they weren't going to do it. And listen, no one wants that to happen, but that's what happened today, right? So, again, it's very important tomorrow. I know emotionals. Listen, I've been a part of it. I've gotten ejected from a high school game before. It happens. But that being said, don't let them bait you into doing something stupid that could ultimately cost your game for whether it's in Omaha or in a game in a pivotal Game 3 type of matchup. We got this message from BD Chrisman on YouTube. Says, treat Tennessee like they treat other teams. Again, don't put yourself in that situation. Text from JT in Hot Springs, one of our favorite listeners, saying, I know that Gage is very fiery and Doyle is over the top. I hope Gage doesn't try to match him when it comes to his fire and get him out of his game. Again, that's the matchup tomorrow. Liam Doyle, Gage Wood, 2 guys that are highly projected in this upcoming MLB draft. It should be a very, very fun matchup tomorrow at 2 o'clock. This one comes from Howard, who's listening in Mina tonight. Not trying to wear my rose-colored glasses or anything, but Fisher had all of that coming. All of a sudden, we fire back one time, and everyone is up in arms. Root was Fisher's daddy tonight. Yes, Zach Root definitely got the better of him. Ryan in Prairie Grove says, I told them to bleep off and T-ball. That's baseball, Susan. That's Ryan in Prairie Grove stands tonight. Let's see. Chris wants to know my go-to order at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. Chris, I get the number 2 with a cake batter shake. It's fantastic. Grilled onions, grilled mushrooms, grilled jalapenos, and get extra fry sauce if you're going to get something. That's the way to do it at CJ's Butcher Boy Burgers. Colton, what else am I missing? What else stood out in this game for you tonight?
Big Mike talks about it right there on our text line. Where they came in for that really tough fly ball down the line at the near the end of the game. Clutch defense has been a calling card of this team all season long, and that was just on display today. And I think that This is a team that if you're a Razorback fan, you can feel a lot of comfort in the fact that they have found ways to win games in a lot of different ways, whether it's been high-scoring games where you've won by just outslugging the other team and pitching maybe 5 or 6 different guys, or games where you just have, 1 or 2 guys go out there and handle the entire thing for you. This is a very, very talented, very, very balanced Razorback team, and I think that something that you could point at today is that, look, while yes, Tennessee does have this really great player in Liam Doyle coming tomorrow, and Ty, you mentioned, Gage Wood and him also being top prospects. Don't get it twisted, folks. There are a lot of middle-aged men up there with clipboards and stopwatches watching all the players in this super regional right now, because a lot of these guys are really talented and will be playing at the next level, and a lot of them are wearing that ugly dark gray and orange, unfortunately. But for the Razorbacks, I think that they've been playing such good defense all year, and I think that one of the things that you can rest assured on is that they will be ready to come out and play no matter what happens. And Liam Doyle is a great pitcher and everything, but look, this really, really great Tennessee offense that's been hitting home runs and has been so high scoring and flamboyant and high flying all year. They had 2 hits today, Ty, and they didn't look that good swinging the bat. So you got that going for you if you're a Razorback fan.
Arky texted and said, would love to see Kahil Aloy get his bat going again. I know he hasn't had his best few games here lately. Today ends up he gets 1 hit for the Razorbacks. He's still hitting 333. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's hitting like 240 right now, but you were watching him as your DH all season long hit with such intensity, and it's dropped off a little bit, but again, did manage a hit earlier today for this Arkansas baseball team, which was something on that.
I'm not sure if he saw a lot of pitches today. I think he did. I think he was the one that grounded out to the first baseman within like 1 or 2 pitches, 2 consecutive at-bats that he was up there. So I think he just needs to see a couple more pitches.
Bob in Paris wants to know I got kicked out for. I cussed at a ref twice.
Are you talking about playing soccer or baseball or what?
Soccer. I cussed at the official, got a yellow card, and then got another one for the. And
was it warranted?
A similar word that Zach Root said.
Is it warranted?
Yes. Yeah.
Of course.
It was just to be perfectly honest.
Statute of limitations is over. I mean, it's up. He was wrong. They were wrong.
It was worth it, Bob. Other games in action right now. UCLA up on UTSA in their game 1 of the Los Angeles Super Regional. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning. And then Oregon State leads Florida State. They won the game yesterday in Corvallis, so they're getting up 1-0 on Florida State. In that super regional.
Came back and beat the Noles yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Florida State, I think, was up 4-1 or 3-1 going into the final inning, and then they just kind of piffed down their leg a little bit.
It fell apart for that. But how about Coastal Carolina? We touched on them a little bit earlier. The Chanticleers, I heard Phil say it differently, so maybe I'm saying it wrong. That's how I've heard people say it. That doesn't mean it's correct. Usually I should,
what did Phil
given
say?
I don't even know how to pronounce how he said it, but he said it differently. So I'm going to guess that Phil's correct. His pronunciation is correct and mine's wrong, but I'm going to keep saying Chanticleers. But Coastal Carolina, who has won a national championship, they're Conway, South Carolina. It's right next to Myrtle Beach, right? I think that's where their campus is. So they have punched their ticket to Omaha, Nebraska. We'll see who else does that. Again, we presented this earlier. The SEC now is down to its final 2 teams, and the reason I say 2 is because Arkansas or Tennessee is going to eliminate itself one of these first couple days. The Tigers are playing West Virginia tomorrow for the chance to go on to Omaha. If they lose that game, they'll get one more shot in Alex Box on Monday. But this streak that has been ongoing for several years now might be over. And to have only a fourth of the teams potentially in Omaha, 2 of the 8 relative to years past, where I feel like you've had 3 or 4 for the past 5 years or so, it's going to be a little different. Now, here's the good thing about that. Not that those other 6 teams will be chopped liver by any stretch of the imagination. But if we want to look ahead, I know the baseball team is not supposed to look ahead. They're not supposed to look past Liam Doyle. They're not supposed to look past Tennessee in these next few games. We have the luxury of being able to do that as radio hosts that have no impact on the game whatsoever. If you get to Omaha and you get an opportunity against LSU, and you do win that game, you have set yourself up so mightily for those games to come, because again, there's not SEC teams that you're going to have to go up against outside of possible rematch against LSU. So, not that Not that we can completely overlook the Volunteers, because I think this is going to go 3 games, just to be honest. I don't think Arkansas is going to win tomorrow. I hate to be a Debbie Downer here following an awesome Game 1 win, but I like Zach Root leading up to this game. I really felt like that Root and Doyle were going to pitch really well. And the only question I think a lot of us had was, when would we see Liam Doyle? Well, we know we're going to see him tomorrow on a Sunday in Game 2, just like we saw him in Game number 2 the last time he was in there. And the Razorbacks rung his bell the last time he was here. Hopefully I'm wrong, and they do the same tomorrow. Big Mike says he got tossed out of a football game because he threw a punch after the whistle. That is not surprising
That'll get you
at all, Big Mike. Have you ever gotten ejected from anything, Colton?
No,
As we've kind of gone on
no,
that tangent.
absolutely not. One time I got a technical foul playing, I think, 6th grade youth basketball because I accidentally ran onto the court before they subbed me in. So technically it was 6-on-5 for a second, and that's a technical foul at every level of basketball. So coach was mad, but technically he sent me in before he told me to check in.
Technically, it's all his fault. JT in Hot Springs does point out, and I said this, and it's more of tongue-in-cheek, and a joke is involved, but maybe there is some truth to it. 30, 60, 90, right? 30 years, 30 years, 30 years. 64, 94, supposed to be 2024. No baseball season in 2020, so my calculations were off by a year. But wouldn't that be kind of funny? It's every 30 years, the football team, the basketball team, and the baseball team wins the national championship. Now, that would be a little concerning, considering we'd have to wait 30 years from a couple weeks from now to watch a basketball championship or a football, but maybe in 60 years it would be worth it to actually watch this team win a football championship. I would be 90 at that point in time. Be a long, I think I'll be dead. I'll be long and gone by then, but who knows? Who knows? We're a long way from that. You got any more? Is there any more important DVH clips that we need to play on the Beaver that we haven't played? I pulled the Vitello. We got that. We played that already.
This is what you had to say about both of it. You play the one about Root and Gackle together?
Yeah, play that, because that, again, just the importance of those guys' performances tonight.
I mean, whenever you got pitchers like the 2 guys we threw today, you're confident you can keep teams down, even a great hitting team like Tennessee. So, they did it.
They did it.
They sure did.
They came through for you. Again, you look at, and you brought it up, we only gave up 2 hits to one of the best hitting teams in all of college baseball. Tennessee is, with the exception of Game 1, and what I can't remember what Game 2, what the score was. I guess it was 8-6. You can't really say they necessarily struggled when they managed 6 runs in that games, but Arkansas has held them at bay. And now we need to remind everyone that Tony Vitello is now 2-12 against Dave Van Horn since arriving in Knoxville. Hopefully after tomorrow, it will be 2-13. We've got, I think, just one more segment. We might have 2, but I think we just have one more segment coming up here on Hog Reaction. As we continue on, it's brought to you by Heath Roberts at State Farm, ASU Mountain Home, and First Star Bank. We roll on next.
Atmosphere should be electric. It's going to be a little nutty.
You're listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance Agent Heath Roberts.
What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kozel, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
Up to $10,000 off on select GMC Sierras at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The GMC Sierra will conquer the road with confidence. Up to $10,000 off, or lease the all-new 2025 GMC Hummer EV with hands-free driving assistance and go 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds for as low as $900 a month. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Who can you trust to sell your home for the most money with the least amount of drama? You need a team of agents with decades of experience, commitment, and of course, tens of thousands in marketing. I'm talking about the Limbird team. Tara Limbird Real Estate Group has sold over $1 billion in real estate. Tara's team can give you a cash offer in 72 hours, or use Tara's high-octane marketing to sell your home quite possibly for thousands over asking. Find out more at limbirdteam.com. LIMBIRD.
The Solid Rock has been locally owned for over 46 years. When was the last time you were there? So much more than a bookstore. They have Christian t-shirts, church supplies, Bible studies, devotionals, home decor, gifts, and of course, a large selection of Bibles. And Bibles are engraved free of charge while you wait. Now, you can get custom laser engraving on select gift items and some Bibles. Located next to Sam's Club on South 74th, The Solid Rock is your source for faith-based books, music, clothing, and more. The Solid Rock, 452-48 44.
Can you explain the infield fly rule? Neither can I, but I can help you navigate a variety of legal issues, from divorce to personal injury to estate planning. I'm Jackie Mock with Mock Legal Solutions, a new law firm offering affordable flat fees with payment plans available. You get an ace at the price of a minor leaguer. Now that sounds like a grand slam to me. Call Mock Legal Solutions for your free consultation. 479-769-1505. Real advice, reasonable price.
It's the grand opening celebration, Friday, June 13th and 14th at the all-new Metters Lumber Ace Hardware in Alma. Come celebrate with us as we kick off this new chapter. Take advantage of great deals available in-store as multiple vendors will be set up, including the Big Green Egg Grill demo. Enjoy burgers and dogs with all the fixings. Enter to win great prizes all day long, and don't forget to sign up for Ace Rewards on the app. Family owned since 1936, Metters Lumber Ace Hardware in Alma.
Spring is here and the grass is growing fast. Upgrade to a Hustler Zero Turn. Hurry in for the Hustler Sales event at WT Equipment. With Raptor X models in stock and savings up to $1,700 off MSRP. Plus, qualified buyers get 0% financing for 42 months on select Hustler mowers. These deals won't last. Visit WT Equipment today or shop online at WTEquip.com. Qualified buyers with minimum purchase, other restrictions apply. See dealer for complete details.
Summer is finally here, and so are the road trips that you've had planned. That's why it's time to visit us at Southern Tire Mart. Southern Tire Mart's expert service, competitive pricing, and top quality tires will ensure your vehicle is ready for all your summer adventures. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let us ensure your vehicle is prepared for the summer. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. Southern Tire Mart. We keep America rolling.
When second's making a play, short's got to cover.
A winning insurance strategy doesn't rely on one person.
Good hustle, good hustle. Communicate with your guys and make sure everyone's in the right cover.
It takes a team that knows its roles well, working together to provide an exceptional experience.
Set the screen. You have to protect yourself. 1, 2, 3.
At Shelter Insurance, you can count on our local agents and award-winning customer service to help you protect what matters most.
Call Wade Gilkey or Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
This is Hog Reaction.
You've got the shoes, now finish the run strong. At True Grit Running Company, we've got the gear that goes the extra mile. Socks that fit and protect your feet and improve how the shoes fit, feel, and perform. Hydration bottles, packs, and belts to keep you going through the hot summer. And Ufos recovery sandals and shoes, your feet will thank you. Because running isn't just about the miles, it's about the details. Come see the gear at True Grit Running Company, where every step counts. 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Save up to $4,000 on select Buick Envisions at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The Buick Envision showcases inspired design with exclusive features in this 5-passenger SUV. Or drive the brand new Buick Envista, a stylish crossover for as low as $399 per month. These are limited time offers. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith or online at harryrobinson.com.
Listening to Hog Reaction. Our exclusive coverage of the 2025 Fayetteville Super Regionals is brought to you by ASU Mountain Home, First Star Bank, and by State Farm Insurance agent Heath Roberts.
The 0-1 pitch to Thomas. Bounced and stopped, and here he comes. Kojal tries to score, and he does! Phillips didn't get to the plate. A run-scoring wild pitch over to third, Kahio Aloy. What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
This is Hog Reaction.
He's really made a jump. It's gotten better. Pitching coaches, Coach Hobbs done a great job with them, and Zach's a super competitor. He wanted to get better, and I mean his outing last week was outstanding as well. So, I feel like that he came here because he felt like he could get better. He wanted to pitch for Coach Hobbs, and he's been everything we were hoping and more, honestly.
Can we eliminate the idea that Arkansas doesn't have an ace as a starting pitcher? Because I will show you 3 games. The Texas game where he had a career-high 11 strikeouts, I think went 8 innings. The outing last weekend that Dave Van Horn just referenced, and then the outing tonight. Mm-hmm. There is no pushback or should be discourse involving Zach Root that doesn't have him as one of the best pitchers in the Southeastern Conference. Is he the best? Probably not. But he is clearly the alpha of this baseball team that has maybe had more bad outings than you're used to seeing in that number one role. But it's not always about the bad outings as a pitcher. It's about the ones when they need you the most, i.e. against the number one team in college baseball, i.e. the first postseason start you have as an Arkansas Razorback, i.e. against your hated rival, the Tennessee Volunteers. You come up big, and that's exactly what he did tonight. Root mentioned this after the game about he clocked at 99 tonight. Here's what he said earlier in the game after the game, about just maybe needing a little more.
I knew it was going to be a little different atmosphere today, so just was able to reach back and get a couple more.
Well, he found something. He found a little more tonight, Colton, it looked like.
Yeah, I think he said that it was his first time ever getting to 99. Later on in the press conference, he mentioned that he had never thrown that hard before. So adrenaline obviously was on his side tonight. And you mentioned it, Ty. You really can't say that this kid is not your ace. I mean, all those games that you mentioned, the Texas game, the game against his last time out last week, the game tonight, and lest we forget, he also went into Nashville, and I think he shut down that Vanderbilt squad in his start there, as well as you swept the Commodores. So this is not, a guy that's just sort of stumbled into, a Friday night starting position for one of the best baseball programs in America. He's earned every single pitch and every single opportunity he's been given. And tonight, I think he really did a great job of working in every single pitch in his arsenal, and they were all working to perfection. I mean, obviously, you heard it right there. I mean, he was throwing up to 99, almost hitting triple digits on the gun, and then he also had that hammer curve that was working as well and had Tennessee batters looking foolish. And him and Gackle, they just combined to give up 2 hits all night, and this has been a Tennessee team that has all year hung their hat, that stupid hat and that dumb fur coat on the fact that they are a power-hitting team and they smack the ball all around the park. Not tonight. Not on those Razorbacks.
Nope, not on those Razorbacks. Over 10,000 people in the building at Baum-Walker Stadium today. That was awesome to see, and the entire college baseball world got to see how crazy that atmosphere was. Like Tina and Mina, I don't know if Tina was at the game, but definitely chiming in here on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline. Woo pig suey. Right. As the Razorbacks take it 4-3 over Tennessee. So as we move forward, as we look ahead more to tomorrow's game, am I off base in thinking that Doyle and this team will bounce back? Because again, I go back and forth. We've given you the research about how the Razorbacks have had really good outings against SEC pitchers of the years under Dave Van Horn. What are you expecting tomorrow?
Well, I think one thing that has to happen tomorrow is you can't get through those first couple of innings and leave runners on base. One of the reasons why you got to Doyle and ended up, getting that game well in hand early is because you knocked the ball out of the ballpark. So not exactly sure if that's what's going to happen tomorrow. Doyle is an extremely aggressive pitcher. He's a guy that wants to go at you, so that means that he'll probably try and throw a lot of strikes. And if you're a hitter, you have to love that. You have to eat that up. You have to be prepared to swing when you see one that's in your sweet spot. You can't be afraid to, get up there and watch a couple pitches first. But at the end of the day, knowing what you're doing and having a plan at the plate to attack is what's made this Razorback team so aggressive in years past against these really good pitchers. They have their game plan. They have their tendencies. They know exactly what's going to happen. And you have to have a little bit of fearlessness. You have to have a little bit of craziness to step up in there and say, look, even if this guy's going to try and throw 101 at my kneecap, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna walk towards first base. I'm not gonna look in their dugout and I'm gonna smile at mine and hopefully try and get a sign to take off towards second, because that's what winning players and winning teams and winning programs do. No doubt Doyle's going to be throwing some cheddar tomorrow, but you got to be willing to stand up in there and go toe-to-toe with one of the best.
I wish this guy would call in. He has texted us on the Lewis Automotive Group hotline.
Oh, give us the ring, Joe.
Joe in Avoca. By goodness. Root effed him up. Joe in Avoca says that he bleeped him up. Well, Joe, it's not just you that thinks that. I think every Razorback fan that's listening or watching would definitely tell you that Zach Root had an outstanding performance today. When you look up and down the lineup card here, again, Charles Dablon, we've given him praise. You get the let's play the Canadian national anthem. Thank you, Chuck. 2 hits, a walk. Was on. I mean, the leadoff guy and in first and the third. So now a great performance by Charles Davalon. Maxwell with the run. He had 2 hits today. Ryder Hellfrick, of course, had that bomb. Cam Kojal had that outstanding base running effort early.
What a great dirt ball read by Cam Kojal, who's one of the dirtiest players on the team in good ways.
In good ways, Phil. I did laugh live when I was listening to that. We did something unique. So we were watching the game for about 5 innings, and then you and I were both working, kind of getting itself ready tonight. Just sitting in the studio, listening to Phil, listening to Bubba. What I'll do a lot of times is I'll listen to Chuck and Quinn, but I'll have the TV on, or I'll listen to Chuck and Z, but I'll have the TV on. I didn't even have the TV on when I was just listening. Baseball to me is just a little different in how you consume it. That's the sport I think is actually more fun to consume over the other two when it comes to just listening to the radio. I admit I'm a visual guy for the most part, but in that particular, don't make that something it isn't. And in this case, I just really enjoyed that. Brent Iredale. So how many guys had double digits? You had Davalon, Maxwell, and Iredale all had double-digit hits, and the only guy that didn't get a hit today was Justin Thomas. I guess in the starting. No, Vahiva. I apologize. Vahiva didn't get that hit. Where I was thinking about the one in the 8th inning that should have gone out, but it was a great play by the Tennessee right fielder that just brought it back in the ballpark. Riders almost didn't make it out either. So there was a couple of plays during this game near the wall that Tennessee could have changed the course, one of them being the one that Riders went out, and then the great catch that ended up robbing Vahibo Beloit of a home run. And we talked about this. I, again, mentioned Vahiba. He had some good plays at shortstop. Wouldn't necessarily say he had a productive day hitting the baseball, considering he didn't get a walk or a hit. But I do wonder, with the Golden Spikes Award coming down to him, Liam Doyle, and then Alex Lodice, I think is how you say the Florida State kid's name, what will happen tomorrow, not just for the game itself and the opportunity for Arkansas to move on, but also for those two individuals that are gunning for the Heisman Trophy of baseball, Colton.
Mm-hmm. Well, for Vahiva, when we saw him come to Fayetteville as this flashy shortstop, good, really nice junior college product from Sacramento State, kid from Hawaii, there was lots of promise, and then he eventually showed us that there was a lot to that promise, but there's been some times during his career here where when he takes swings, he sure as heck is not getting cheated. And so one of the things for Vahiva is I think that his attack and his approach and his mindset just needs to be as consistent as it's ever been. He can't get up there and think that if he doesn't hit a home run every time that the team's not going to win the game. We talked about it in the pregame show. Every single pundit that we've had on these airwaves in the past couple weeks and all season long has mentioned this once or twice. This is not, your grandma's Arkansas Razorbacks where you have one star, one pitcher. I mean, this is a team. This is a lot of really talented players. I mean, Coach Van Horn has gone out and recruited. Coach Haas has gone out and recruited. Coach Thompson has scoured the transfer portal, finding guys they could plug in that work for their system, and it's culminated in a roster that is not just reliant on one player anymore. And that's unfortunately kind of been your demise in recent things and in recent seasons, and why teams and why fans of this team may be a little bit gun shy. But now this team is 1 through 9 able to bat and see the ball very well. You said everybody got double-digit hits earlier. You meant multiple hits at least. And I think that what's funny is that's been pretty normal. It's kind of par for the course for this Razorback baseball team all year long. It's that this is a really talented ball club, both at the plate and in the field. And I think that while, yes, Ty, you may feel really confident in how talented Liam Doyle is. Look, Liam Doyle can't go up there and hit either. And they only had 2 hits as a team tonight for the Volunteers. So I'm going to be taking the Razorbacks tomorrow because the arms in that bullpen and the way this team has been hitting all season long has really got me feeling good.
Well, that's going to conclude our presentation of Hog Reaction. Would not be possible without Heath Roberts at State Farm, my insurance agent. He's local. Give him a call at 479-452-4088. He takes care of my homeowner's needs. He takes care of my car insurance needs. He does it all. That's Heath Roberts at State Farm. ASU Mountain Home. They've got over 60 degrees in technical programs, #1 community college in Arkansas, according to Wallet Hub. Visit their website, asumh.edu, for more information. And by First Star Bank. Whether you're borrowing or planning, stop in at your local First Star Bank branch. Call your local First Star Bank branch today with all the digital tools. For all your first, it's First Star Bank, your hometown bank. That's going to do it for us. For Colton Little, I'm Ty Richardson. Everyone enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. Reminder, pregame coverage with us begins at 1 o'clock tomorrow, followed by Phil and Bubba with the Learfield pregame. And, of course, we'll be after the game for Hog Reaction. Have a great Saturday night, everybody. Arkansas wins 4-3. Let's close it out against the Vols tomorrow in Baum-Walker Stadium.
Atmosphere should be electric. It's going to be a little nutty.
You're listening to Hog Reaction.